So with NostraCity, we're focused 100% on external value add because we find that if it's a closed system, it's just a different Ponzi, and it's really great for getting hyped up and starting something, attracting lots of revenue, attracting lots of people to come and participate in your community and get the price up really high. We love that, except we don't see how that can progress to something that we can look back a year and say, my gosh, like how far have we come, right? So the external value add for us will be in generating actual sales of NFTs or bonding. We'll distribute our token, and the treasury is the number one focus of our protocol. With the treasury, we're hoping not to just keep it or spend it in operations, although part of it will be spent in operations so that we don't put that selling pressure with the token to run operations. But the key here is that when we make investments, and fingers crossed we'll make good investments that will return us a good return over time, the whole idea is that the treasury is where the value is. So you have the treasury as the center of NostraCity that's hopefully going to grow on its own by us making smart investments. That's number one. Secondly, is we're going to have tokens, and tokens are going to be backed by that treasury because you're going to have voting rights with those tokens as well. And then we're going to allow you guys to grab those tokens and build your nodes. Okay, I don't know what we're going to call them. I would like to accept new ideas for the nodes. What do you want to call them? Briefcases? I think briefcases might be kind of cool. I don't know. Give me your ideas. Write them down here, and let me know what you'd like to color funky nodes. So let's say that you have these node briefcases, right? So you're gonna have to buy up the token, buy up more token, buying pressure on the token. Great. And then what you do is you're giving up the right to sell those tokens for a little while because you're going to get a return of the same token over time. So you're delaying gratification, basically. You're delaying selling that token. You're saying, I am giving up the right to do this while I make the protocol safer, better, more profitable. Awesome. And you're going to be rewarded by getting a return over time. Now, here's the cool thing. We are not going to take your tokens and put them in a reward pool. We're going to take those tokens and burn them. We don't want them out there available in the market for other people to dump on your head. So you're basically giving up that right in exchange to get a little bit of token spit out every single day, probably for a very long period of time. And I'm saying fingers crossed. I will explain to you why I'm saying fingers crossed. Every decision that is made regarding the rewards that get paid out through the nodes will depend on how successful we are at the investing game. This is why this is an investing game. If we get it right, guess what? We can pay higher and higher and higher rewards. If we get this wrong, then we're going to have to keep rewards really tame. Now, the goal is to reach 75% of treasury invested in yield bearing stable farms or higher potential investments. That will happen through time, and that is a goal that we want to reach. It won't be 100%. One, because we need some of the treasury for operations, and the other thing is that we need a big part of the treasury for, this is the most important bit, for the liquidity pool. If we don't have enough in the liquidity pool, the price will spike up. Great, on the way up. Everybody loves that. Nobody complains about the liquidity pool dynamics when the price is going up, right? But the same happens when the price is going down. So we want to have enough liquidity so that bigger players can come in and out, and the whales can swim somewhat peacefully. So very important that we get this right. And people have been asking me, okay, how much are you going to pay out per day? What's the APR? Well, here's what we're trying to figure out in the background. Very, very focused in doing that. And this is only going to happen in season 2. Okay, so I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here. But basically, we're going to try to err on the side of being more conservative so that we can be more sustainable, because we would absolutely be heartbroken if we did all this work, we made really cool investments, and all of a sudden, because we're paying out too much, the project doesn't make any mathematical sense. And at the same time, we're also going to try to develop an algorithm to reflect the treasury. So, like I said, the logic behind this is if the treasury is growing really nicely and safely, somewhat, it's DeFi at the end of the day, then the idea is that we'll be able to pay out more. If it's not performing as intended, then we should pay a little bit less. But that's a really, really difficult algorithm to get right. It involves, bizarre things. And so if we can't get that algorithm right, what I'm going to say is, okay, guys, we don't have the algorithm figured out. What we're going to do is let's try to be conservative. Let's see what the other projects are doing, and let's err on a little bit of the lower side of that. And hey, nothing says if we get a really, really good performance through the actual treasury growing through our really great investments, that we can't change that in the future, that we can't add different layers, because these are NFTs. They can be bought or sold. And so you're going to be able to, buy and sell and maybe get NFTs that will reflect that new financial reality. So we believe that there is really a massive potential for breakthrough right here, right now, on what I'm telling you. One is the separation of external value through investing in other protocols, separated from having the nodes pay out from a reward pool. We don't want the reward pool. We want there to be basically NFTs that pay out the tokens, and we don't want to be tied to a finite source for something that could be infinite, because there's no limit to how much our treasury can grow. And with every single season that should last about 3 weeks, we're going to get more and more and more of that treasury growing and growing and growing. I get so excited when I think about this, when I talk about this. Okay.